I have with me Thea from the blog Culture Tourists.
Hello.
And she's gonna take me to a very special place, which is dun, 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 the Rijksmuseum. She's a specialist in, you're an art historian.
Yes. So my formal education is in art history, and since I was still studying, I started to work as a museum docent. So I was teaching people about art, showing them paintings, telling them about
very
architecture.
lucky. I'm going to have a private mini tour by Thea. So this is really an honor. And learn a little bit about art in the Golden Ages, Dutch society.
Exactly. Yeah. And the connections between today's society and the Golden Ages. Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's get into the Rijksmuseum. I'll see you in a bit.
It looked a bit different. It was composed of the two open courtyards then, and now you can see the windows, statues, walls that are actually outer walls at the beginning. But then when they close them and they put this glass roof on top of them, they've got a large light area here where they could start organizing exhibitions. But in 2003 they wanted to modernize the museum once again, and what they wanted to do, they wanted to connect these two courtyards. So they started to dig the tunnel which goes below the road we've seen from the outside, and then when they started to exactly, and people, so they wanted to connect the courtyards in that way. But when they started to dig the tunnel, water started to came into the building. It was completely flooded, and then the renovation that was planned to last for only 1 year lasted for 10 years in the end, and the museum was closed between 2003 and 2013. And for these offices, they would commission some of these group portraits. So you can just think of them as documents of time, like a school photos. You know, when you have school kids all standing very frontally, looking straight forward to the camera, you have the same thing here. All of them are looking straight to the painter. Well, Rembrandt is always trying to show them in a real situation, and you can see that they're having a meeting here. What they're actually doing is they're examining the quality of a textile they got from their suppliers. So you can see a book over there on a table, and here a bag with the coins. They would grade the quality. So 1 coin would be the worst quality, 3 coins the best quality. And that's how he's trying to show them in a real situation. But then look at these two ladies that are calling him. One of them holds a shoe here, and they're telling him, come, take a look. Maybe there is still something left for you in the window. So yeah, you can see how good storyteller he was, and how you can really follow what's happening here. Let's go there. This is the version we have here in Amsterdam. And then when you will come finally to the Van Gogh Museum here, take a look at the brown flowers.
Wow.
The same texture.
It's precisely the same.
It's on them.
So
So you can see direct influence from the 17th century art to one of the most famous modern painters.
So Van Gogh was influenced by Rembrandt.
Yeah. And especially by the thick paints Rembrandt was using. And then later on, the thick paint is becoming probably one of the most important elements for Vincent. Closer with me. You can see it here on the sleeve. So he would took already dried pieces of paint from his palette, and he would put them with his fingers to the wet canvas. So that's how he's actually building a texture here on the sleeve. Look at my sleeve, for example. I have the same texture here. So yeah, that's what he's trying to show here.
This is perfect for
And
your
then
tours.
yeah, I can actually dress up to show everything.
We just did the tour. It
Yeah.
was very enlightening.
Oh, I didn't know we are shooting the video.
Of course, these are the best parts when we do it spontaneously. And I'm very happy. It was truly a surprise to see how a tour can enhance the experience of visiting a museum like Rijks.
Yeah.
And I have the feeling that you were really like a storyteller.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, that was good. So now we are going to have a coffee because apparently Thea has a surprise for me,
Yay!
which I can already imagine what it is, and I'll show you. We are walking across the gardens of the Rijksmuseum. Oh, look at that. This is cute. This makes me think of Versailles. It's just like a little moment of déjà vu. And now we're going. We're going to Boca Coffee, having our fix. What is this? What is
Take a look.
Oh my god. This is the cutest packaging. Now I want to be very careful because I don't want to destroy your beautiful logo. Ta-da! This is cuter than I even thought. And I like the paper. It's really lovely. So we have canal houses and Dutch symbols, bicycles, which we love. Golden Ages, that's what we've been doing at the Rijksmuseum. Delft blue. Wait. Tulips. Dutch design. Famous museums. Wooden shoes. Cheese. Windmills. Ta-da! Wow, thank you so much. I have to start by the cake, of course. It's very yummy. So before we leave, I want to ask you a few questions about the coloring postcards and about your blog, because you have a blog, and that's how we met.
That's right.
So tell me about your blog, Culture Tourists.
Well, I started the blog 3 years ago.
Yeah?
And since my formal education is in art history, I wanted to combine art and traveling. And I'm mostly writing about the European destinations, but with a focus on their art, culture, history, so museum, historical sites, following some famous painters in the cities where they were living in, and so.
So your blog is actually where all your passions are merging.
That's right. So my blog is now my business, my full-time job, and I'm writing there about traveling. But then I'm also creating products on it. The coloring postcards are actually a product from the blog, and I think it's a true combination of these two, between the art and travel, and looking for the sustainable postcards and sustainable souvenirs from your trips. So that's the idea.
And how did you come up with this idea of the coloring postcards?
Well, I went to the art high school, so I always drew a lot. And then the last year, I wanted to create Christmas cards inspired by Amsterdam. So I created these cards for my family, and then they became a big hit. I also wrote about them on my blog, and I decided to go with the first collection inspired with spring in Amsterdam. And then after that, I just continued and created the general one with the Dutch symbols. And now, a few weeks ago, I published the one about London and the architecture in London.
Wow.
So my idea
You're
now...
expanding.
Exactly, yeah. So now my idea now is to create the project called Drawing the Art of Europe. And I would like to cover a lot of cities and countries in Europe and make little drawings inspired by that.
And where can people find you?
Well, they can find me on my blog, culturetourist.com. They can read there all the blog posts, and they can also find the products there. So the web shop is there, where they can find postcards.
And people can also book you as a tour guide.
Exactly. So they can also do that. They will see a section, tours and events. This is where they can book a tour, museum tour, and then a section called the web shop, and this is where they can find all the products, all the coloring postcards.
So my mom is gonna come for Christmas. Will you do a tour for us?
Oh yeah, sure.
for you guys. Visit Thea at Culture Tourists. Visit amsterdive.com, which is my own blog, and we'll see you there. See you in the next blog. Doei!